Alright tubes, got us a little Ford Ranger project here. We're going to be replacing a wheel bearing. So I figured I'd show you how I do it. Might not be the way to do it, but it's how I do it. So what we're going to do here is we're getting ready to pull the wheel off, but I figured before I did that I'd just show you, or my dad will show you here. We got Daddy Dirt Bike here. He'll show you the play in the wheel. It's rather significant. So that's kind of how I knew that that was the problem. The other symptoms were when I was going down the road, particularly when I made left turns and shifted the vehicle weight over to that side, it would start to kind of make a bad bearing noise. Kind of sound like a jet engine or something, like a fighter jet going overhead. And I only really noticed it for the most part when I was going around turns, putting weight on that side of it. And that's kind of how it made me think it was a bearing. So then I jacked it up, and so we had the play in there. But anyway, there also might be a vibration that has yet to be seen. I had a vibration. It's kind of intermittent, so I'm kind of curious if that'll go away when we replace the bearing. But anyway, first thing we got to do here is pull the wheel off. So my dad's just about got that done, and we'll get the wheel off, and then we'll show you. We got to pull the caliper off. So we'll get that. We'll get to that. There's not too many bolts to get that out of your way, and then you gotta pull the shield out of the way and undo the axle and stuff. So we're gonna get some tools out here and get ready, and then we'll show you what we're doing. Okay, now so to get the caliper off here, there's just two bolts. They're 15 millimeters, and if you look where the you don't want to take these bolts out here. These are if you were replacing shoes or whatever, you would take those out. But if you look right behind here, I can turn my light on, it might be helpful. But there's one 15 millimeter bolt right there, and then the other one is just directly below it down here. So we're going to have to loosen those two up, and we're going to take the caliper and the rotor off, and that'll give us access to the bolts to get the shield off, because I believe that needs to come out of the way as well. Okay, now as you can see, I've got the whole rotor caliper assembly hanging out of the way there. Trying to take some care not to damage this hose here, but if damage has been done, it's already been done, so just something to be aware of. And something else I want to point out, here's the top bolt that I had showed you guys. There's only one up there, but I believe that I pointed you in the direction of this bolt, which is the one directly below the top one. That's not the one you want to take out. You take out the top one, you don't take out the one directly below it, you take out the one next to it, okay? The other one is actually, you're going to have to take it out anyway, that's what holds the whole bearing in, but it's not the one to get the caliper out of the way. Once you get that out of the way, that gives you access to this little plate here. There's just 3 bolts on it, 8 millimeter. I took the top 2 out and just swung this out of the way, and that should be all that's necessary. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to stick a bar on our hub here so it doesn't spin, and then an 1 1/4 socket will fit on here, and we're going to loosen that. Stand by. Alright, you can see we stuck this stake in here to brace the hub and keep it from spinning while we loosened that bolt on there, nut. And once we got the nut out to the end of the threads here, we gave it a swift tap with a sledgehammer to pop the axle out of the hub, and make it a little bit easier with our the rest of our de-installation. And now what we're doing is we're undoing the 3 bolts that hold the hub on. There's one of them up at the top here. Should be able to see it right there. Right there. There's another one down here. There's another one on the other side. They're all 15 millimeters, so we're taking them out right now. Okay, as you can see, here's just a quick tip. We moved the jack over and jacked it up so we compressed the spring a little bit and straightened out the axle a little bit, so that made it a little bit easier to move it back and forth and gain access to the bolts back there. And while my dad's working on that, there's a number of clips. I think I might have been missing one, or maybe it wasn't hooked up. But there's a number of clips holding these on, and you don't have to pull the clips out of the frame. If you get a screwdriver in there, you can actually undo them. You just have to look at this little thing snaps over, so if you push it to the side, you can pop them out. Just gotta look at it and you'll see how it works. And there's one more back here I have to get to, and at that point we should be able to pull the whole hub assembly out. Okay, the last clip that I was showing you that's around the back here, it actually wraps, I don't know what I did with it, here it is. It actually wraps completely around the cable, so you have to take the 8mm bolt out. There's not really any other option there. So you take that bolt out, and then you get your cable free here, and it just plugs into a little connector up here. You just have to follow it up and see where it goes, and it's a simple connector. You just have to depress the little tab here and it comes right out. It's not too complicated. And I'll just show you one last time the play we have in the bearing here. I know when I'm holding it and shaking it, it kind of gets a little difficult to see, but it's without a doubt a bearing problem, as if we were questioning it at all at this point. So this thing's ready to come out now. I'm going to get into position over here. My dad's going to tap on it a little bit. It should come right out. Starting to break loose. There she goes. And that's it.
Ooh, is it bad? That's real bad.
Yep. There we go. Now we got to clean all that junk out of there. Get that all nice and cleaned up. Clean up the face there where it presses against the bearing, or rather the hub assembly, and then ready to put our new one in. So stand by. All right, we cleaned up the inside there before we are going to attempt to put the new bearing on, and there was grease on it before, so we're going to reapply some fresh grease there. We assume that if there was grease on there before, there's probably supposed to be grease on there. And we also cleaned up the face there where the hub makes contact, because you want that to be nice and clean. We took a screwdriver around there and stuff, cleaned it all up, but that should be pretty good. So once we get some more grease applied on there, we're going to go ahead and try and put the new hub on, see what happens. Alright, we got our new hub on there. Now we're going to torque it down. We're going to torque it to about 80 foot-pounds. I can't really make any recommendation on what you should torque them to. That's just what we're going to torque them to, 80 foot-pounds. I think we're having some kind of problem here. So stand by. Alright, torquing up our last one. You can see our clever invention here to see the torque wrench. We don't have a clicker type. We got the old-fashioned style, so we couldn't really see what we were doing. So that was the problem we had. So we're torquing them down to 80 foot-pounds. And it'll be good to go. Now that we got that done, now we're going to take the big nut and we're going to put that on the front here and torque that down. I don't know what we're going to do that to. Maybe 100, 120, something like that.
Look it up. I think it was 140.
140. The torque wrench goes up to 140, so I guess that's what we'll do. Alright, it's been a little while since we did an update here. Our battery's gone dead, so we're going to make this quick. But what we did is we put this the shield back on here. We put the caliper and the rotor back on. That's good. We ran our ABS sensor line back on. And now all we're going to do is put the wheel back on and tighten this up. And that'll be it. We'll have a completed job.